Welcome back for another video. I'm Eharbad, and in today's Raid Sour Lemons video, we've got the Nut Fusion. We're going to have a look at how we're getting on with that, and then we're going to do some photo diary to take a look at what we've been doing in the last week or so. We've got some summons to do. Then I'll probably show one of the teams, either Doom Tower or Dragon. I'm not sure which yet, but let's get into it. First up are the photos. If we go back here, this is exactly, 6 days ago? 2nd of July, the tag team tournament. I managed to bag first place. Obviously get that nice 6-star legendary relentless. Gratefully received. Next up, we had the Champion Chase tournament that ended, I think, the same day as the tag team or the morning after. In any case, unfortunately, did get sniped. I was monitoring it with a few minutes to go. We're comfortably in the lead. Actually had plenty of fragment summons I could have pulled, but even with mere seconds to go, we were showing first place, so it looked like I didn't need to. But then once the finalization part had finished, suddenly we weren't top anymore. It is what it is, but still got 6-star legendary relentless for it. Missed out on the epic tome, the legendary tome and the mythical relentless, but whatever. We still managed to get a good placement and good rewards. On the 4th of July, I increased the speed at which I'm able to do stage 6 hard spider. It's now pretty consistently around 110 to 120, which is pretty good going. I'm pretty happy with that. Then on the 5th of July, you can see during CVC, we built out Theodore, so managed to get the booking done, the ascension done. And then I built him out in a regen and broken set build, essentially trying to make sure I got enough accuracy and resistance to be able to do Scarab, as that was really my viable way to be able to beat Scarab 50 on the hard side. Didn't quite have the builds or champions built up to go for a full TM control. I did give it a quick go, but it would require a bigger investment than going for the solo champ. And obviously, since we'd pulled Theodore, it was a no-brainer that he would be that champion. Didn't manage to get quite the speed I would have liked in the build, so he's running a little bit slower than I'd like, around 200, but with enough accuracy and resistance to get it done. Maybe I'll show the build after we've gone through the photos. Then continuing that day, we went and put this Theodore to work. Managed to go and beat stage 15, pretty much hard carried by Theodore here. In fact, Executioner and Magus have no gear whatsoever, so we're just kind of keeping them alive with Miscreated providing the shields, bit of stun, and then Theodore really doing most of the damage. Stage 16, the naked champions did start to die at this point, so only getting the 1-star. Then on stage 17, ultimately everyone died except for Theodore, who went and soloed the rest of the stage. Stage 18, again, Theodore doing the most of the work, but Miscreated and Doom Priest did stay alive in that one, but the naked rares obviously once again dying. So I think generally, we're in a reasonably good position to be able to go and beat Night Revenants overall with that core trio of Theodore, Miscreated and Doom Priest. I think if we get Executioner to probably a 5-star, he'll bring a little bit more crowd control. And then the 5th slot, I'm not sure who that will be, but we very much need someone to at least stay alive. It might end up being Guardian, who will probably help us on the Valk waves. Then over to the Dwarf faction crypt. Managed to beat stage 17. It's only a 1-star because Nari, Avir, and Master Butcher all have no gear on them, so it's really just Amitha and Brogni doing all the work. And then basically, again, similar here. I think if we actually get the other champions to 5-star 50 and gear them appropriately, we should be in a decent position. I do think we're going to lack a bit of DPS, so we'll probably need one of those 5 champions to be a kind of a damage dealer, particularly to get through that final boss. We don't have we don't have a reviver in the composition, so it's going to be important that we're able to beat that boss quite quickly. But I think between Demith and Brogni, we'll be pretty tanky. 1-turn block damage. We've also got pretty much permanent shield and block debuffs. So we're in a pretty good position in that regard, but we definitely want a bit of damage. But I'm not sure who that's going to come from. Wait a second, we're going to get Gnut during this fusion, so that's where the damage is going to come. Then on the 6th of July, Theodore went and pushed some dragon. So managed to do stage 8 hard and stage 9 hard. Stage 10 proved a little bit problematic on that day, but I have now since done it, and I think I have a screenshot of it, so we'll circle back. Then CVC finished, and we actually managed to win one, which is quite remarkable. Only our 3rd win. Again, we were matched up against a much more developed clan with 30 trophies to our 2, but obviously we managed to get our 3rd and secure the win. In terms of the scoreboard, again, pretty good distribution of points across the clan, so everyone's chipping in, doing good work. Then this morning, pushing on Doom Tower, floor 72 was actually pretty challenging. This was the Morty Macabre Sky Touched Shaman floor. Did require me to swap around some champions, so I brought in Scarab and Creedon. Usually I only run one of them, but having both of them in there gave me enough crowd control to keep the wave perma CC'd. Obviously with Razzlevarg making me go fast. In fact, we've got 3 champions that have increased speed here between Razzlevarg, Theodore and Creedon. Brogni there for the protection and the effective kind of healing that we get. Theodore there, along with Razzlevarg doing the damage. Then the next screenshot here is Magma 80, managed to get that beaten. I tried a couple of times with Husk in Seeker's place, but the provoke on the A1 just wasn't consistent enough. It's not a really fast clear for me at the moment. I don't have enough damage dealers, like enemy max HP hitters that are going to make this boss a really quick farm, which means we need quite a number of provoke procs to occur. And Seeker's just so much better for single target provoke than Husk. So actually Seeker was fantastic once he was in there. Really, really consistent on the provoke. And obviously we have Scaramis doing the provoke on the A3 as well. So this, I'm pretty chuffed about this. It would be nice to see over the next few days if I'm, how much further I'm able to get. But that is floor 80 on the hard Doom Tower done. Oh, and there we go. I did say I thought I had a screenshot of it. There we go. Dragon stage hard floor 10 is done, or stage 10 rather is done, but it was a bit of a manual affair. It's definitely not something I can do consistently or on auto at this juncture. And that is all for the screenshots. There aren't too many of them today. The next thing I want to do is talk about the fusion. We need to get the rare here on Summon Rush. Already got 150 points done from mystery shards, so we'll just go in and do the 4 sacreds. Got a lot of work, however, to do today to get Dragon done. Was doing the champion training event up until this morning to grind out the legendary tome there, which was quite a big investment. So we've got like 2,000 points to get done. I will show you the team I'm running in Dragon momentarily. Here is the Theodore build. So we've got a single piece of protection and a regen set. We're actually using a pair of perception boots. Ideally, I'd probably be running perception and regen. Here we've only got 4-star regen gloves, so it's not perfect, but it's getting the job done. Decent effective HP. Like I said, a little bit on the slow side. Pretty good res. I think if I use a res lead, that will be enough for Scarab 80. Not Scarab 80, Scarab 90. So yeah, hopefully with a res lead, I'll be able to get the next Scarab iteration done as well. skills obviously are booked out. We haven't got a blessing yet, and in terms of masteries, this is what I've done so far. We've still got a couple of points left to select depending on how we end up seeing. I've basically tried to pick up as much kind of resistance and accuracy as I can and get as much speed as I possibly can because my build is pretty slow. So that's kind of the mindset of those masteries. Like I said, we've still got a few points to pick, depending on what we ultimately think is going to be a sensible thing to do. So we have a good number of shards at the moment, and we only need to use 4 during this event, and then obviously we got the champion chase next weekend, for which we have a number of fragment fusions to do. Almost certainly going to pull Drexar. He's going to be very helpful for certain Doom Tower bosses, also for faction wars. Same with Archmage Helmet. We've got the secret rooms to do, so we'll be able to get Archmage. And then, in fact, beyond that, we've also got Razin Fusion champions getting leveled up. So we've got all of them already at 4-star and well on the way to being ready. So we should be able to fuse at least a couple of the epics here. And then equally on the Nut Fusion, we've got already 4 of them ready to fuse one of these. So when we get to Champion Chase, we're actually going to have a lot of champions that we can fuse. We might not need to summon too many Sacred Shards during the 2x Sacred event. So hopefully we'll be in a position that if they do a guaranteed Sacred Shard after this fusion, we'll actually still have enough Sacred Shards left over that we'd be able to participate in that. That's kind of my hope at the moment. All right, so let's not wait any further. Pull these 4. Marksman is not a champion we need. Just doesn't really do anything. Very, very poor champion overall. Doesn't even deserve those ratings. He will not be used. Another epic here. Jarang, also not really that good. He's okay for the epic only Lizardman, and he's like very average for faction wars. He's not terrible, but he's not a champion that I would invest in at all. Another epic, Delaja, who we already have. Oh, this is quite sad. Just one decent epic, come on. It's actually legendary, and it's Snick Track. Very interesting. Decrease attack on the A1. We've got this. This is the first champion we've got with an AoE decrease speed, which is actually a fantastic Hydra ability, but it's also really good for those high-level Doom Tower floors. And with this allied protection, reflect damage, he's actually a pretty interesting champion overall. I like that. I think he's interesting. I actually have him on the main, but I've never really used him. Highly rated. Fantastic for Hydra. Like, that's a really good pull. And it's fun because I want to try different champions on this account that I haven't built up on the main. So I think that's a really good pull. I'm pretty pleased with that one. We got Theodore last time and Stick Track this time. We're really on a bit of luck right now. We're still well off some people's legendary pulls in terms of pull rate, but we've, when we have pull champions, we've pulled some good ones. Brogdie, Theodore, Snick Track. Only Nari is questionable, but definitely some good champions there. I want to show the Dragon team. So basically 10, 9, 8 and 7, these are not consistent. 6, I've tried a couple of attempts to get it faster, and ultimately I actually don't like Artak in there. The change, in fact, let me show it to you. The change they've made to him really is problematic, to be honest. So this is how I will run him. Do those, and we'll show it. But I'm actually going to run it with. I'm trying to think of the name. Oh man, I'm actually going to run it with Stag Knight. But essentially, it used to be that when he was under shield, he wouldn't destroy his own max HP for the HP burn activations. And obviously, we have a lot of HP burn activation between Artak and Theodore. But since they changed it in the recent patch, he will still destroy his max HP even when under a shield. So, you know, Brogni providing that shield isn't helping in that regard. And he just doesn't restore enough HP from his placing of the HP burn to keep up with the HP that gets destroyed from the activation coming from him plus Theodore. So he just ends up looking quite risky overall. But overall, I still like this team. You know, we've got good control coming in from Scarab. We've got Razelvarg keeping us cycling and giving us that increased accuracy, which is not so important on this stage, on stage 6. But I don't have enough accuracy in my builds for the higher stages. Not yet, anyway. I'm still struggling a little bit to really push up those numbers, particularly on the regen builds. Just don't quite have the gear yet, you know. So we've got the increased accuracy and the damage coming from Razelvarg. Scarab there, keeping the waves controlled, and then between Artak and Theodore, we're going to get the damage on the boss, and obviously Razelvarg doing work as well. We do miss having decreased defense in this team, which definitely does affect Razelvarg's damage output, which is why I quite like Stag Knight there. But it's really a question of, do we want the AoE HP burn to take down the waves faster, or do we want the decreased defense to bring more damage from Razelvarg? And I've tried it both ways, and to be honest, the difference in clear speed is negligible. So I'll probably end up picking Stag Knight, as I just think it's a safer run overall. I think it will be more consistent. And I think we are now at the position, if we're going to run Scaramis in this content, that we're going to have to pick masteries on him. I've been holding it off picking the masteries because I haven't figured out what I wanted on him. But I think he needs War Master to stay alive at this point in this team. If he's not getting War Master procs from the leech on the boss, he'll just end up dying against the boss every time. That said, it's not really that big a deal if he does die against the boss, because he's not there really to do anything other than decrease attack, which Artak's already doing anyway. So, and even Stag Knight would do it. So it doesn't really matter either way. But anyway, like you can see, the run is pretty clean overall. Not too bad. Let me show you the. We'll just. Click out that. Let me show you the version with Stag Knight, and then we'll call it. What I do need to do is collect all of this energy, collect all of the energy, because we're going to have to do a lot of dragon, which will help because we've got all of this dungeon divers to do anyway, so it's not really an issue. And then if I jump into the clan shop, we've still got 7 sets of this energy to use. That's going to help immensely. We're looking pretty good there. And then there's one other source of energy that I have ready, which is tag team. That will put us to 1500 energy, and whatever else I need, I'll just use some gems. So it's not really going to be an issue at all. Let's jump back in. Stage 6, that's where we can farm consistently. Go back here, put in Stag Knight. We'll see this run, and then tomorrow maybe, if I have a chance for another video, we'll take a look at Doom Tower. Obviously we've got 10 more floors there. We're going to be trying to push from floor 81 to 90, and then we got the boss there as well. And I think a little Doom Tower video would be quite an interesting self-contained video. And hopefully that will kind of be a bit more interesting. You can see how I tackle each floor, as to be honest, each wave is getting increasingly difficult and requiring specific strategies or combinations of champions to get through. I can't really full auto anymore. I have to do either semi-auto or sometimes full manual. But we got a number of different options. You know, I've got Scaramis and Creodon for kind of crowd control. I've got damage from Artak and Theodore. I've got speed boosting from Razelvarg. I've got protection from Brogni or Demitha. Sometimes both. Quite often both, to be honest. Yeah, so just kind of end up having to tailor the team based on enemy composition and see what we need. We do have some other niche options for certain waves if it ends up being required. We do have a Ronda. We've now got Snick Track with the AoE decreased speed, which I really would like to get involved at some point. I don't know where I'm going to fit him in exactly. We do have a bit of decreased speed coming out of Theodore already, but it is only on an A1, and it's not that consistent given the A, the speed he's running at, and B, the rotation that he typically do, which is A2, A3, A1. So by the time he's even doing an A1, we're quite far through the wave anyway. So you can see we're through to the boss again, about 2 minutes, so it's fairly similar kind of time with Artak, but it just, to me, it just feels a lot safer. The Stag Knight run just feels safer. Artak obviously kind of killing himself with the destroyed enemy max HP. Against the boss, we still get the HP burn being put on by Brogni anyway. We've still got decreased attack coming from Stag Knight, so we've still got the double decreased attack, which is really useful against hard dragon. Does hit like a truck. So, you know, the actual benefits from Artak, just, I don't know, they're not that big versus Stag Knight in this composition. I would have thought the AoE HP burn with double activation would have resulted in more of a speed up than it does. But I think losing the decreased defense and the damage that Razelvarg does with it ultimately means that it's actually not a sacrifice that's worth making. I think this one clears it basically the same time, but is much safer. So I think what I'm going to do now, I'm going to whack on super raids. I'm going to work through this 1500 energy that I've queued up. Obviously, the game has now decided to stop for a bit. Yeah, so I'm going to basically grind all of this energy out and get that champion done in Dragon. And I will thank you for watching. Please like, comment, subscribe. I'll catch you in the next video. Bye for now.